Namaskar. We would like to welcome you all on behalf of Independent Research Ethics Society, AYUSH Samriddhi International Webinar Series at milestone of 2,846 in 5 years. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining. Today, we are conducting GCP series, Good Clinical Practices, and it is our second episode of the 2025 year on GCP, and it will be continued on our platform for next 1 year with different topics. I would like to welcome Dr. Suhas Deshpande, Medical Superintendent, Mansarovar Medical College, Bhopal, and Dr. Jagdishwar Domaji from Telangana, Mehboob Nagar. So, without wasting much time, I would like to communicate my sentiments on Ethics Committee. As General Manager and Vice President of Imami and Jhandu, I have conducted more than 500 clinical researches on behalf of the organization. So, definitely what I have faced and what we are conducting through Independent Research Ethics Society, we have our Ethics Committee, Independent Ethics Committee, IECCR India, Independent Ethics Committee, Clinical Research India, and registered with CDSCO before 5 years from Calcutta. So, if we introduce research, and particularly the ethics in research, so ethics is the study of morality, careful and systematic reflection and analysis of moral decisions and behavior, whether past, present, or future. So, these are general ethics, definitely. Now, medical ethics are also there to recognize difficult situation and to deal with them rational and principled manner to safeguard humanity. This is the principle of any ethics committee, maybe human, maybe animal, maybe. If we review the history, in 1947, Nuremberg Code was established. In 1947, World Medical Association was also established. In 48, Universal Declaration of Human Rights in General Assembly of United Nations. 1954, Principles for Research and Experimentation, World Medical Association, and 1966, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. 64, Declaration of Helsinki. 80, Policy System ICMR. 82, WHO and CIOMS. 91, CIOMS. Generally means development is continuous evaluation of ethical principles are there. 93, International Ethical Guidelines for Biomedical Research. 2000, ICMR Guidelines, Biomedical Research. 2003, UNESCO International Declaration on Human Gene Data. So many principles are there. And we know human rights and health very entangled. In our India or any constitution, right to health is prime and it should be given to every citizen or animal of that particular nation or state. So, slavery, violence, and harmful traditional practices, right to information, right to education, so many. Right to participation, freedom from discrimination, freedom of movement, right to privacy, every right are there. So, ethics in medical practice and research, basic principle. Non-malfeasance, beneficence, autonomy, and justice. In Declaration of Geneva, it was stated, the health of my patient will be my first consideration. In our Ayurveda, it is well stated or mentioned by our Acharya that every patient should be considered like your son, like the son of the doctor, whoever is treating the patient. International Code of Medical Ethics, a physician shall act in the patient's best interest when providing medical care. So here also the focus is patient. Declaration of Helsinki, I am not going to discuss verse by verse, but so many references are there. Everything is now regulated. In 2008, Helsinki Declaration was there. And focus on ethics in research. Now, rights and responsibility of researchers. It is very important. Number one, researcher should be qualified, well qualified, and competent to conduct the research. Research should improve of knowledge on the subject. Very important. No secret research bring to the public domain. Every time publish the paper, so it will definitely enter to the public domain. Should follow ethical guidelines, honesty and transparency, respect, protection, and promotion of rights of participants. It is the major focus of any ethics committee or any clinical research that we must respect, protect, and promote rights of participants. Unethical study then can quit. Right to publication and peer review. These are the rights and responsibility of researcher, means he has to publish it in paper, peer reviewed paper. He can't be maintain secrecy with patient or with the consumer, whoever it may be. Right and responsibility of the institutions. Respect autonomy of researchers, number one. They should allow the researcher to conduct the research, support ethical guidelines, should have institutional ethics committee. If it is not there, they can have permission from independent ethics committee even. Observance of ethical guidelines for research. Now institutional ethics committee. What is the function of IEC? To resolve ethical dilemmas, to safeguard dignity, rights, safety, and well being of actual and potential participants. It is very necessary. Taking care of principle of ethics, to support the researcher in ethical issues, to examine compliance with all regulatory requirements, applicable guidelines and law. So many guidelines have been issued, ICMR, WHO, our every country, and in our India for AYUSH and biomedical research also guidelines have been issued. Ethical clearance, irrespective of funding agency. Now we talk about composition of ethics committee. 7 to 15 members can be done, not 7 to 9, but 7 to 15 now can be maintained, but minimum 7 should be there. Number one, chairperson, 1 to 2 basic medical scientist, anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, pharmaceutical chemistry, any basic scientist. 1 to clinician from various institutes, 1 legal expert or retired judge. It may be advocate also. We have in our ethics committee 1 advocate, sir. 1 social scientist, a representative of NGO. 1 philosopher, ethicist, theologian. 1 layperson from the community and member secretary. And 9th, I would like to add here lady representative from the society. Lady representative is also very necessary nowadays with the clinical trials. So lady is also very necessary. Just I am repeating the composition. Chairperson, in our case, chairperson is Dr. S.K. Bandyopadhyay, ex-medical director, medical education, Health Government, Department of Health, Government of West Bengal. One, two basic medical scientist. In our case, we have Dr. Shantanu Munshi, professor and head pharmacology of School of Tropical Medicine. One legal expert, one clinician, very renowned Dr. Kalyan Brad Bhattacharya, neurologist of Medica Super Specialty Hospital, is our clinician. One legal expert, advocate, as I told you, Sanjay. One special social scientist, yes, Dr. Srivastava. One philosopher, ethicist, and theologian, yes. One lay person from the community. Now there is no lay person. Lay person means he is not. He should not be medical bias buddhi. So member secretary, I am subject expert and independent consultant on the basis of project. Which project is coming to ethics committee? Ethics committee has every right to appoint consultant on the particular specific relevant topic. Duration of members in 2 to 3 years. It is 2 to 3 years. Application procedure and documents. So name of applicant, where it should be, it will be conducted. Very systematic manner is there. We have to apply to ethics committee. Prescribed application form is there. Name of applicant candidate designation. Definitely it will be principal investigator in any case. Name of the institute, hospital, field area where researches will be conducted. Approval of HOD or institution. Protocol of proposed research. Ethical issues in study and plans to address those issues. Proposal should be submitted with all relevant enclosure, pro forma, case report, CRF, questionnaire, follow-up cards, etc. ICF, informed consent process, should be in local languages also. For any drug or device trial, all relevant preclinical animal data and clinical trial data should be submitted, if available, to ethics committee. CV of all investigator with relevant publication in last 5 years. It is also additional. If they have any publication in last 5 years, they should submit to ethics committee. Any regulatory clearance required. If that is a molecule, no new molecule, definitely CDSC or DGCI permission will be required. Otherwise, we can't conduct clinical research. No ethics committee can permit that. Source of funding and financial requirement for the project. Other financial issues, including those related to insurance. This area is also now evaluating, like anything, developing. Patient insurance, generally in our Ayurvedic medicine, there is very much, they are safe and they are not harmful, so we are not conducting till now. But in allopathic medicine or nutraceutical, if they are chemical composition, they have chemical composition, definitely insurance should be there. An agreement to report only SAE or to IEC, statement of conflict of interest, if any, agreement to comply with the relevant national and applicable international guidelines. ICMR is there, WHO is there, our CCRAS is there. Statement describing any compensation for study participation, including expenses, etc. Now, review procedure. How ethics committee will review the proposal? Proposal sent to members at least 2 weeks in advance. Meetings on scheduled intervals. Minimum 5 members for decision. Quorum will be complete. Out of 7, 5 will be there. Decision by meeting, not by circulation. It is also very important. Now, in this technology era, high-tech era, we can conduct this meeting on Zoom also. Researcher will be invited to offer clarification if needed. Principal investigator or co-investigator, whoever it may be. Minute and notification by member secretary. Communication contain decision to the principal investigator. Record keeping and archiving. Updating IEC members. Selection of research participant must be completely voluntary, not forcefully. We should give our principal researcher or principal investigator should provide ICF informed consent form in local language what patient understands, and definitely there should be signed, and his all detail will be his or her all detail will be their volunteers. No inducement but compensation. Risk benefit, out of pocket expenses, this should be considered important. No unjustified insurance. No netagiri, no unjustified assurance. We must not give. No researcher should give. Anonymity and confidentiality is the basic pillar of the research. So, selection of special group as research participant, pregnant or nursing women must be considered carefully, must be avoided in general researches. Children after phase 3, vulnerable groups generally should be avoided. Right to participate. What are the rights of participant? Patient information should he will have, he or she will have, nature and purpose of the study, duration of participant with number of participant, procedures, investigations, foreseeable risk and discomforts, benefit of participant, policy on compensation, medical treatment for injury and risk. These are all part of patient information sheet. Alternative treatment if available, steps taken for confidentiality, no loss of benefits on withdrawal. These must be clearly mentioned in patient information sheet PIS. Contact detail of PI and co-PI, contact detail of chairman of IEC, voluntary participation. If test for genetic and HIV, counseling for consent of testing must be given as per national guidelines. Separate guidelines are there for HIV patient and genetic patient. Storage period of biological sample and related data, copy to participant. If written consent not possible. Suppose in some research, age is there. Third person, audiovisual must but needs approval of IEC. Ethics committee can permit if serious medicine is prepared for serious disease. Definitely, it may be possible that patient can't sign at that time. So, in research, it is allowed to ethics committee for permission that audiovisual should be made. Fresh or reconsent. Why researchers should have reconsent? Deviation of protocol. Regain consciousness from unconscious. ये पेशेंट के साथ भी हम लेंगे. समझ लीजिए उसने अनकॉन्शियसनेस में उसके थर्ड आदमी ने परमिशन दे दिया और फिर उसने कॉन्शियसनेस में नहीं दिया तो भी प्रॉब्लम. चेंज इन ट्रीटमेंट मॉडलिटी, प्रोसीजर, साइट विजिट, and before publication, this should be fresh or reconsent should be there. Waiver of consent, not more than minimal risk, do not come into contact when it is necessitated in emergency situation, and research on anonymized biological samples from deceased individual. So waiver of consent is there. Principal researcher are responsible 100%. Ethical conduct, but junior, assistant, student, trainee have an equal responsibility. Mind it. not only principal researcher, but responsibility is of everybody in the team. So training to junior and assistant is very necessary. Without any discrimination, they must be trained to GCP parameter, GCP policy, and quality of the clinical research with ethics. Researchers should not mislead or force other researchers. They should not just force anybody to accept their opinion, because everybody's opinion is very important in the research. Cooperative, responsive, honest, respectful about the interest, opinion or view, capability and work of other researcher. This principle investigator should be master of. Ethical issues in various research settings. Now, ethical issues comes in epidemiological studies, drug trial, vaccine trial, herbal extract, Unani Siddha, medical device, diagnostic devices, tissue or organ transplants. These are the research settings. So I'm not going into the detail of these, but ethical issues are there in epidemiological also, just like confidentiality, minimum harm, should not raise false hopes, consent from, these are all repetitive. Ethical permission from drug trial, it should be Drug Controller General of India in case of new molecule only. Otherwise, the trial permission is not required from any authority, but it must be approved by Ethics Committee and registered by CTRI, Clinical Trial Registry of India. So, approval of IEC, all guiding principle irrespective of place of discovery of drug, risk benefit should be favorable. It should be registered as per international standard. RCT are not required in ASU medicine, as those are already in the domain from 5,000 years. So RCT generally is not, but in some cases, if we want to export that product, RCTs are also being conducted on ASU, Ayurveda, Siddha and Unani medicines. So, should be carried out in equipped center, preferably clinical pharmacologist involved, use of placebo in drug trials, post-trial benefit, criteria of termination, breaking of code, partner notification, new drug in India phase 1 to 4, new drug outside India phase 1 data is required. So phase 1, definitely drug trial. If you change the protocol, approval of IEC is must. And in phase 1 started from lowest dose, subpopulation, duration between two trials in same volunteer, 3 months minimum. Compensation is given by the sponsor or insurance agency. Now, phase second, the dose used is lesser than highest dose used in phase 1. Phase 3, drug in Indian patient, open non-comparative trial are unethical generally, but in open label trial, comparison is not necessary because we are not considering any product as control sample in Ayurvedic trials generally, but we can. Phase 4 doesn't require approval from DCGI if these three are approved by him. Multicentric trial, definitely it can be conducted with the permission of ethics committee, and that committee should be that center, clinical research should center, out minimum one clinical research center should be in the region of purview region of ethics committee within 90 kilometers of the radius. Trial involving contraceptive, this is also there. Monitoring and reporting adverse reaction or events. Unexpected adverse events or adverse drug reaction and all serious adverse effect should be communicated in discipline with the systematic manner from investigator to sponsor within 24 hours it must be communicated. From investigator to ethics committee within 7 days it must be communicated. Death information to ethics committee within 24 hours should be given. Sponsored to licensing authority and investigator of other site between 2 weeks means 14 calendar days. It must be evaluated and discussed. Medical management of adverse event, it very needed at that time. So center should be developed with all equipments and facilities. Vaccine trials contain active or live attenuated standard vaccine. If new vaccine is there, definitely community involvement is very necessary. Clinical trial with surgical procedure should be safe. Indian Medical Device Regulatory Authority IMDRA of Health Ministry should approve the concept or equipment. ISI Board of BIS, TGCI and Nuclear Medicine Board of the BARC should also review the proposal of new devices relevant to health. Informed consent as drug trial. Generally, what we are maintaining in drug trial, that should be repeated. Patient information sheet is also there. Diagnostic agent, use of radioactive material and X-ray. The focus of ethics committee is very clearly mentioned that no harm must be felt by the consumer, customer or patient. Clinical evaluation of traditional Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani medicine and medicinal plant. Operational guidelines are also there. In DGCI, categories of drugs, category 1, no phase 1, category 2nd and 3rd, and phase 1st to 4. So, DGCI is not required there. The organ transplant research is also there. So, no research is permitted on the live aborted fetus. Center registration with NAC and SRCT. National Apex Committee for Stem Cell Research and Therapy, and Institutional Committee for Stem Cell Research and Therapy, ICHCRT, NAC ICRT. It should be there. Reporting of the result of research, maybe to ethics committee, maybe to anybody. Support or contradict. Number 1. Courses of funding and sponsor should be mentioned. Report explain methodology, how ethical guidelines followed, ethical dilemmas encountered and resolved. No any keep secret result, definitely not. Who will be the responsible investigator, institution and sponsor. Ensure easy availability and accessibility and avoid conflict of interest. In maybe principal researcher or the ethics committee, if you are interacting with media, avoid dissemination till published, no false hopes or expectation or unnecessary scare raise. No atank, no netagiri. You must communicate only truth and nothing else. Right and responsibility of peer reviewers. as we are submitting, encouraged to improve and advance research, number one. Peer reviewer should be of expertise field, relevant, undertaking objectively, impartially, and constructively. It is also very necessary. Actual or potential conflicts of personal or professional interest must be avoided in any case. And peer reviewers are expert. Malpractices in research or violation of ethics. Now, this research should be published in journal, scientific journal. So it should also be clear consent from participant if you are using or communicating their name. Confidentiality must be mentioned. Authorship and consolidated standard of reporting trials consort guidelines. This should be read. Ensure that such material is duly reviewed by referees, as journalist and as researcher. Fabricated, falsified, or plagiarized information must not be entertained. Now softwares are there to catch these. After publication, doubt is raised about its ethical status or ethical conduct of the study, so you have to reply for that. Funders and sponsors, right to expect progress of work and final report. This is their expectation. Ultimately, they are investing money on that. Right to get a copy of ethical guidelines for research. Respect ethical guidelines for research and should not expect researcher and institution to undertake research or conduct it in any way contrary to ethical guideline. They can't force. Challenges. Now I would like to communicate the challenges of the research. In our Ayurveda open level trial, generally we are not considering anything as standard, or we are not providing placebo generally. But use of placebo and standard is really debatable subject in each and every trial. Why we should, where, how much patient should be group of control and placebo. These all are questions before researcher that can be solved and that must be solved. Paying researcher motivation or induce. Researcher is conducting this forcefully or in the greed of money, or that is self-motivated to observe the right result of the right medicine. Training of IEC members, it is also very important. So thank you. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you very much. Suhas ji, Dr. Suhas Deshpande ji, would you like to add?
No, I'd like to listen to this today.
Ji.
And very elaborately, you had given everything details about it. Thank you very much.
We are conducting GCP series every week. I would like to invite you also. This platform is your, Dr. Suhas. We are conducting on your behalf. Just consider this.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Dr. Nishant ji, I am changing the link for our next webinar, that is on AYUSH in UNICEF. What is the status of AYUSH in UNICEF? It is also point because we are all discussing this in our India, and definitely our government